Howdy, welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I am Banjo Ben, your host on your favorite website that teaches you how to play banjo, guitar. This week is mandolin. I want to send a big thank you out to all my friends over there on the Banjo Ben Facebook page. Very often I'll get on there and ask what you would like to learn, and your feedback is very important. I did that this week for Mandolin Week, and the response was that you wanted to learn ending licks, or rhythm licks and Monroe-style licks. So I took all that and I've molded it into one lesson. So this is a bag of licks on how to play ending licks. So we're going to start with some very basic licks like that one I just played. But then we're going to learn how to combine that with other licks. And then we're going to learn how to do them in any key in different positions. So by the time we get finished with this lesson, when you get to the end of your solo, no matter what key or position you're in, you'll be able to play this great accentuating ending. But they also, this is what's cool about it, they also work really great for fills and for rhythm licks as you're playing rhythm. So I'm excited to dive into this one with you. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, here in a moment I'll ask you to go over to the website. You can join as a Gold Pick member, which gives you access to all my videos. I do this each and every week, as well as hundreds of tabs and MP3 rhythm tracks. So I'd be honored to have you on board. Let's jump into this first lick of my Bag of Licks endings lesson. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to learn several different licks on the mandolin that can be used by themselves or can be strung together. They're very useful at the end of solos, but also incredibly useful to use as rhythm licks or little fills whenever people are singing. So we're going to learn it in the key of G first, and then we're going to learn how to move it around to any key that we want and out of any position that we might have. Now let's throw up the first line of tab there. You'll notice that in the first measure, or the whole first line, I've got our pick stroke directions beneath each one of the notes. So a down arrow would mean a downstroke. An up arrow would be an upstroke, but I also have these little numbers beneath that that are in circles. And those are simply our finger indications for our fretting hand. So a 1 with a circle around it would mean that we play the note with our index finger. 2 would be middle, 3 would be ring, and 4 would be pinky. That's important because we're going to be playing the same licks out of different positions because we never know where we're going to find ourselves on the mandolin. Now let me just give you the basic skeleton lick for this first lick we're going to learn, maybe the most useful, and then we'll dive into the other licks that we can string together with it. But we're going to start on a G note. We're in the key of G, so we're going to start on the 5th fret of our D string. That's a G note, and it may look familiar because whenever we play our G 4-finger, big G 4-finger chord, our ring finger is on that G note, 5th fret of the D string, okay? And so what we're going to do is just follow that chord pattern that we've got here. So we're going to do a quarter note there, and then 2 eighth notes, and then we're going to go up to the 2nd fret of our A string, which is a B note, then our 5th fret, which is a D note, and then we're going to land on our next highest G note, 3rd fret of the 1st string. So there's a little arpeggio. We're just using the 3 notes that are in the G major chord triad. So measures 1 and 2 sound like this. Up from the grave he arose. Okay, we're going to beef that up quite a bit. But what I want you to see right here off the bat is that we're not stuck in playing that lick simply in that position starting with our ring finger. Because you may finish a break or be playing some rhythm chords that are way up here in different chords or in different keys, and you may find yourself wanting to start the lick with your index finger. Well, what happens when we do that? Well, we can get the exact same lick, but starting with our index finger. So let's go to the 5th fret, measure 3, 5th fret of our D string. We're playing that G note with our index finger this time. But now we're going to find the notes in different places. So we're going to have a quarter note, 2 eighth notes, and then we're going to reach up with our ring, grab the 9th fret, then come up and grab that 5th fret with our index finger on the A string, and then with our pinky, grab that 10th fret, that G note, which is the same G note we had here. We're just getting it in a different spot. Okay, so measures 3 and 4 sound like this. Let's just try to play those 2 basic licks, measures 1 through 4, slowly. Now let's get the exact same notes starting here instead. Cool, so just practice that. The cool thing about those two is that there's no open strings, right? And we'll get much more into this later. But because there's no open strings, that means we can play this pattern anywhere on the mandolin and get any key we want. There it is in B flat. There it is in A. Well, we ran out of strings, but that would be it in the key of D. Now let's beef that up a little bit. Let's go to measure 5, and now we're just going to add some notes to it. We're not going to add any different notes, we're just going to play them more times. So let's go back and we're going to take this pattern that starts with our ring finger on the 5th fret, and we're going to, the first part of the measure is the same, but now we're going to come right back to that 5th fret with an upstroke, and then 2, 5, 3. So that measures 5 and 6 sound like this, versus what we had before. This one now has more notes. Okay. Now, since we can do that down here, we can also learn how to do that if we were to have to start on our index finger. Measure 7 sounds like this. So let's play measures 5 through 8 slowly. Now moving up, index finger on the 5th fret. Now, let's make it bluegrassy sounding. Let's make it sound like a Bill Monroe lick. We can get that by adding some slides. Okay, so let's look at measure 9. What we're going to do is we're going to add some slides whenever we get to that 2nd fret. Okay, so the right hand is the same for this lick. It's just every time we play that 2nd fret, instead of playing the 2nd fret, we're going to start at the 1st fret and slide into it. So it sounds like this. Can you do that? That's really fun to play. Now you don't have to slide both of those. A lot of times I don't. I may just slide the first one. Or you can just slide the second one. But we can get those exact same notes starting here with our index finger on that 5th fret again. Now we're going to slide from 8 to 9 with our ring finger. So it sounds like this, measure 11. Cool, so let's play measures 9 through 12 slowly. Now move up. Now let's just demonstrate how we can take these two patterns. One starts with our ring finger, one starts with our index finger, and let's move them around to different keys, okay? So that no matter where you're on the mandolin, you can always have this lick. Now measure 13.